Welcome, useful content community. Do you want to improve the audio in your content? Well, you'll want to stay tuned because this week we are honored to have with us content creator, studio engineer, podcaster, and writer Fela Davis to show us how to make our audio better.
Broadcasting live from Relate Studios in Trinidad and Tobago, it's the Useful Content Creation Show with your host, Juma Bannister.
Oh, Fela, you like that groove there?
I do.
Yeah. I tell people I made it myself back in the days.
I know. I saw that in the previous episode. You talk about it.
Oh, I did. Okay, maybe
Yeah.
I'm talking about it too much. All right, this is a useful content creation show where business owners and entrepreneurs come to improve the content they create by educating themselves with useful strategies and tactics in marketing, business, and content creation. My name is Juma Bannister. I am your host, and I'm happy to be with you this evening. And for those who are in the comments, remember we are the useful content community. I often forget to do this, but today I'm going to show it. Throw your bulbs up so everyone can see, because we own the bulb emoji. And don't forget to drop your hashtag UCC Live if you're down in the comments right now. And if you're here on the replay, you can always drop the hashtag UCC Replay. And for those members of my Facebook group, over 130 strong as of today, you can drop your Learn with UCC, because we're here today to learn useful things that will help us with our content. Today, I'm happy to introduce our very, very special guest who is with us and is going to teach us useful things on how to make the audio in our content better. Welcome to the show, Fela.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on.
It's great to have you on. It's great to have you on. And you're chiming in all the way from, is it New Jersey? Yeah.
Yes, Fort Lee, New Jersey, just outside of Manhattan. So
just outside of Manhattan, yeah. I've been there, but not for very long. I was stuck in traffic there. I think we spoke about this last year.
might have, but traffic is always just outside of the door. So that
yes, it's like a normal thing, as a way of life. I mean, for the pandemic, it was much less, but now it's
very
come
true.
back. It's back up there. Let's say good evening to some of the people here. This is some of the people from I don't know who this is, but let me say hello to my Facebook people. This is some people from my Facebook group. I'm sure this is probably Allison, maybe. I'm not sure. Shania, good evening. Great to see you. April, great to see you here with us. Thank you. Gail, all the way from Barbados. Great to see you here. And Chelsea, all the way from Belize. Good to see you here, Chelsea. Thank you for joining us today. I kind of want to log in to see who is there on my Facebook group, and I'm going to kind of slide that in a little bit. So great to have you all with us today. So we met through Alice Denenberg.
Yes, the IP lawyer. Yes.
Yeah. How did you know? How did you know Alice?
We're both on the board of directors at the Fort Lee Chamber of Commerce. So we work on a whole bunch of different stuff together, events and all sorts of things local to the town. So
all right.
Yeah.
And I know some people might be a tiny bit confused that you don't have a New Jersey accent.
Yes, I'm originally from South Carolina, and I've been in Jersey for 13 years, like 2 weeks ago. So, but before that, I was in Miami for 4 years. And then, South Carolina all before that. But the accent goes nowhere. It doesn't matter where I move. So.
All right. Okay. I'm just trying to see who was here with us. Okay. It was Kieran and Luke. Hi, Luke and Kieran on Facebook. I just pulled that up.
Hello.
Yeah. The accent definitely goes nowhere. It's it's like it's a standout thing. I'm sure people always point it out.
Oh yeah, totally. In the Northeast, yeah. As soon as I say one word, it's like you're not from here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when that happens.
Yeah.
All right, so some people might not know who you are. So could you please tell us about yourself? Tell us about a bit about how you came to be in this business as a studio engineer.
Um, well, it goes back to when I was in the 8th grade, I took a career placement test and it said audio engineer. Um, and I was like 13 then, and I was like, wow, this sounds like a very cool career. And that was it from there. I just kept researching, and in the 10th grade, I found the university that I ended up going to, which was Full Sail. In the 10th grade, I went to an open house, and that was it. They had the Neve board, the SSL. It was everything I wanted to see. Ended up going there right out of high school.
Oh,
Um,
really?
and that was it. I started, doing like A2 work, spotlight. I actually went into live sound initially. So the first 18 years of my career was pretty much all live sound. And 8 years, the last 8 years of my live sound career, I was out on tour with 8-time Grammy Award winner Christian McBride, who is a jazz bassist, and he had like 6, 7 different bands. And I went around the world with him, Africa, Asia, South America. It just, I got to tour and see the world with these world-class bands and getting to mix them. And the way that he found me for that gig was literally on LinkedIn. And he found me on LinkedIn because at the time I had just moved to New York City from Miami, as I mentioned before, and I had worked everywhere I could live sound wise in Miami. So it was either come to New York or LA. And I decided to stay on the East Coast and come here to New York, New Jersey area. And I've always lived in Jersey, but I was always like commuting and doing live sound events in the city as well. So doing that for a few years, doing like $50 a night gigs, I started recording the gigs that I really like, the bands that I like, the artists, and I started posting them to LinkedIn. And I realized that at the time, LinkedIn was ranking people literally 1, 2, 3, 4. And I realized that I was climbing the ranks of audio engineer New York City. And that was because I was creating content.
Wow.
And so that got me on my road of like, oh, this can change my whole career if I just put out there what I like to do. And that's what I started doing. I put out there the mixes that I liked and the bands. And then 8 months later, I saw that I hit the #1 spot. And then probably a few weeks after that, I got a random DM from Christian McBride on LinkedIn saying, hey, I'm looking for an audio engineer. And the rest is history. So from that, becoming his engineer, I became an endorser for a lot of products like Focusrite, Lewitt microphone, all the stuff that you hear me going through right now. I started creating content for them, for these
Right.
manufacturers and brands. And then I started adding in businesses, and that's how I'm a part of the Chamber of Commerce. So I do videos now for like real estate people and doctors and lawyers. So the content thing just built up as I wanted to get more gear for, and then we got so much gear that I ended up having to get a studio for it. So that's how important content is for me, is that, I was able to not have to go into debt and, get a big loan to get a bunch of gear. I was able to just earn it with content.
That's an amazing story.
Thank you.
And I think the most amazing thing about it is just your awareness of, oh, this thing is giving results. Let me continue to do it
Yes.
and build it up, because clearly no one else had figured that out, and that's why you were able to climb. Not saying that I mean, you were very well qualified, but also you put effort into the thing,
Yeah.
and it grew. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 8 years ago, I had no idea how to edit video. All I knew was audio. So, but once I saw the opportunity out of content creation, I was like, okay, well, I'll learn how to do it. And I had a good friend of mine who kind of taught me. He's a video producer as well. So I got to learn and like look and figure out what worked for me and what I like to do with my content. So
That's great. That's wonderful. I love those type of stories. So
yeah.
listen carefully, people. If you do the thing, you actually put effort into it, it can get you results, especially when you least expect it sometimes.
Very much
uh,
so.
very much so. All right, so let me just say good evening to a couple other people, and then we'll jump into the other segment. Good evening to Kieran. Thank you for jumping on from my Facebook group. And this is Luke. I think it's Luke I saw on Facebook. Keneal out from Jamaica. Hey, Keneal, how are you doing this evening? Great to see you. And Luke again right here. Keneal throwing up his bulbs as he is supposed to. Thank you so much for throwing your bulbs up and lighting up the place, because we came to see things. And Keneal, so Keneal is really saying, "Wow!" I saw him putting these comments while you were talking. Wow, and that's impressive. Yeah, and Fela
Oh,
is quite impressive with what she has accomplished and what she has done. All I can say is that when you met Christian McBride, he had 4 Grammys, and then now he has 8. So
yeah.
let's just say a little bit of that was some Fela magic that was put inside there somewhere. All right, so let's jump into some of the main things we want to talk about. But before we get into that main thing, I want to ask you the question that I ask everyone. The big question is, what makes your content useful?
Yeah, I've always specialized in useful content. Because all of my content came from creating it for gear manufacturers. And I only endorsed the stuff I really liked and was using on the road and with Christians. So um that's the content that like speaks to me, is like, oh, this is how I use it, this is why I use it, and this is, I want to present it to you. So
Right. So the utility of the thing is what drew you towards making some
yeah,
of the
because I'm an
content.
engineer by trade, so everything has to make sense. It's a very, this
Right.
happens, this happens, and
Right. Yeah, and that is very. And I could see, like when you were talking before, you said that you had so much gear, you had to get a studio. Sometimes people go out and have a studio first, and then try to get gear to fill it. But
yeah,
clearly, you're about utility. You're like, okay, this works, so let me use it this way.
yeah.
Yeah, clearly, you sound like my business partner. you know, it,
It has to make sense.
it has to make sense.
To make sense.
As,
Really,
as
it's
as it makes sense. Yes, definitely. All right, so I know we're going to talk about today about how to improve your audio for content, but I really want to ask the question in a real practical sense. Why should anyone care about having better audio for their content? What's the real value of that anyway?
oh, because nobody wants to hear horrible audio. Like it's irritating and it's just not enjoyable. Um we're getting further and further into like the podcast world as far as like that kind of content. And nobody wants to take an hour and a half to hear scratchy audio that that doesn't sound good in your car or in your headphones. So um and the reason for things, for content, is to put out there what you're doing. um and you want that to be the best representation of what's being out there. And that was how I got more gigs. Because it was very quality looking and sounding.
Mm,
It was undeniable and people understood. We were very basic in what we did, put in our content.
mm, mm. Have you found that people could instantly tell the difference when you put effort into making the audio good, even though the image was the same?
Oh yeah. Um, because funny enough, I mean, most video people, they don't really care about audio.
Mm,
So it's a very so it, and for me it was like the first, that was very important. So if I didn't have, a good sounding source, then we were scrapping it. Like,
mm,
and maybe it looked good, but if we couldn't, maybe I would use it for B-roll. Then it was like, okay, how do I creatively use this some other way, because the audio is funky, and this isn't part of our brand as One of One Productions. I mean, we're known as an audio company, so to have bad audio on our stuff just didn't make sense. So
mm,
yeah, that was always the first thing on me and my business partners' minds, to
mm,
keep that high quality.
mm,
Because yeah, we have, Grammy Award winners who are our clients. So, you know, we
mm.
want to keep everything at that level,
Mm.
So
Uh,
that was just a personal thing we wanted to make happen.
right, right, right. And I saw that. I remember the story where when you did I think it may have been the first live show with Christian, and you put real effort into making the audio very good. And at the end, when he listened to it, he was like, "Hey, we could just put this out just as is," because he was so impressed with how you took care to mix everything live that
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, we could put this out as is."
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how I want every client to feel when they see and hear their product from us.
Right, right. So, what about the people who are just starting off, or maybe they might be recording things with their phone or stuff like that? Solopreneurs or people with small businesses. How can they improve their audio without buying brand new gear? Is there any way to do that?
Mm. Yeah, it's still, I would you can attach things now to your phone. I wouldn't suggest using just the phone. I would suggest attachments like IK Multimedia. They have the iRig, which I mean became very popular during the Versus series. When people would go, when stars were going live from their house during the pandemic and stuff like that. So that kind of attachment where you can add something like this microphone that I do have to it. You can add like regular, either XLR or, do some USB mics or something like that. If you're using a laptop, or now they're attaching them to iPads as well. That's a little bit expensive. That's not basic
Right.
either. Um, but it may be cheaper than getting a full-on interface and situation like that. But yeah, for your phone, I would attach a microphone to it, because you can
Mm,
easily get like clip-on lapel microphones that just go, that'll record right into your phone and sound pretty decent. But you have to make sure that the gain structure, that's the big thing. Gain structure with any microphone, making sure that you're not clipping.
mm,
That's how you make sure that everybody wants to hear your content all the way through.
mm,
So
mm,
a nice, good, even audio signals, people love it.
mm.
Nothing that's like making you that's jarring and stuff like that. But yeah, I would suggest something that would attach to your phone instead of just going audio only into your phone.
Right. And so that's like so there are options for lapel mics that could it's like you could plug it directly into your phone. Like how much would something like that cost on a regular day?
You're probably starting at about 80, maybe even cheaper, 50, but up. But I would say, I'd spend a little money on that, like $100 or something, personally. And all this kind of stuff. I'm actually an audio retailer. I'm not selling. Well, you know what? I can sell this. I can sell like the attachments, but that's not something that I normally, have sell, because I'm usually selling to people for like mobile recordings, like taking your laptop and like, having another guest and having like a 2-person setup. But yeah, for like super beginners, yeah, you can even get like an omnidirectional microphone that'll attach to your phone as well. But yeah, you'll definitely need like some kind of rigging, which I said like is an iRig or something like that.
What's the iRig exactly? Explain how does that work? What does it do?
iRigs, they attach to your phone and give you like an XLR input to, and you can adjust the sound and stuff like that right on your phone, instead of having to use your laptop or some other device. You can just use your the information right in your phone.
And so you can adjust it on your phone. You plug it in and you can
Yep.
adjust it on your phone. Is the iRig a big device or a small device?
No, it's a small device. And, I don't even have one in studio. but yeah, it's a small device, and those go for about $99 as well.
Right. And that's like you come to your store, or if they want, they could just jump on Amazon or whatever it
Or
is.
yeah, or email me. Let me know like what kind of setup you would like. Because it can go so many different ways, whether it's like you as a solo podcaster or you as a solo video person. That's when you would want the lapel, when you're doing your own like sit down, hey, this is what, the product or the service that I'm working on, then you want to be mic'd close, for your lapel miking. But then if you're interviewing somebody, you may want a handheld, so you can also add that kind of rig as well, like an actual handheld microphone.
And so if somebody wanted to do a portable podcast setup for audio, what is the kind of like the baseline stuff that you would recommend for those type of things?
Yeah, well, we have a one-of-one audio kit that we actually put together during the pandemic. We had to close the studio down for 3 months, and we had clients that wanted to continue to record, and it was like, oh wow, how do I, like, what do we do with this? It was like, oh, I guess we should start selling this gear that we've been already doing endorsement videos for and stuff anyway. So instead of just doing endorsements, we also became retailers. So out of that, we created the one-of-one audio kit. So we have like the standard kit, we have a premium kit, we have a starter kit. Our starter kit comes with a actual recording device, a Tascam 4-channel recording device, which has 2 XLR inputs, which, like this kind of microphone that I'm actually using, this is an XLR mic. So with the 2-channel starter kit, you would get the recorder to well, not this mic, but like Mackie microphones, and that's like $300-400, just to like get you started. And then everything would get recorded to the Tascam to an SD card. And that way you don't need a laptop or any kind of other device besides, you have the recorder that everything is going straight to. And you can have a guest to it too, because it's 4-channel, but the other 2 channels are just external microphones. But 2 inputs, XLR inputs, and then 2 microphone on the outside. So I mean, you can, actually have 2 close mics, and then, somebody's doing question and answer, they can come in and, do it right into the microphone. So you have different possibilities with the starter kit. But then with the standard and the premium kits, we go to the Focusrite 2i2, this third generation that we set that we retailing for, and you can get that in 1 and 2 channel as well. And as you go up in to the premium kit, that's our like broadcast that we, when we're working with like Sirius XM and like iHeartRadio clients, we have on those kits.
Right,
So
right,
very broadcast heavy stuff.
right. So would that be the same kind of setup you would suggest for, like, if somebody wanted to do a live show like this? Would it be the same thing, or would it be something slightly different?
Actually, it would. You can use it. Actually, that's what I'm using right now. I'm using basically our standard kit right
Mm.
now for this interview. So it's great because you can stream with it, and you can just do it for a podcast and just go right into your laptop and have great audio, and then you can send it to us for mixing and editing.
Right. Is it the I know the 2i2. I actually have a Focusrite Scala 2i2 right now. That's what you're hearing my voice through.
Nice.
Um so what I does the Tascam do that as well? Can the Tascam be used as an audio interface, or that's just a
Yeah,
recorder?
you actually can. You
Okay.
can use it. You can use the USB and use it as an audio interface. So, the drawback with the Tascam is that the gain, the preamps aren't as nice as the Focusrite. So that's why we have it as in like the starter kit. It sounds good, but just not as good as the Focusrite, because it's just more money in the preamp. So
Right, right, right. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. All right. Let me just take a look at this stuff. So Lorenzo is saying hello, and Lorenzo is saying that sounds like what I need. Yeah, you might need some of this, Lorenzo, for what you want to do. I know Lorenzo. He's a good friend of mine, and he's
all
thinking
right.
about doing some recording, live recording, probably a podcast. Who knows?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that might be a thing. So I guess you could just email Fela and
Yeah,
see
please do.
she might suggest. And okay, is there anything in Fela in that has to be done in audio, like for live productions, and that remains exactly the same, whether you're doing like something for 5,000 people, or whether it's a single person live stream, or
Mhm.
an interview like this one? What remains the same no matter what size of production you're doing?
Gain structure. And that's just, I mentioned it earlier, just making sure that the signal is not clipping. And like you said, that's for whether I'm mixing for 10,000 people or one person. Because either way, it's not good if you're just clipping every other word, and there's some kind of distortion that draws your attention away from the content at hand. So yeah, always making sure that the gain structure to the source is nice and even, and not like, oh wow, it makes your brain go towards it, instead of just like, oh, this content makes sense, and that should be the only thing that the person is thinking about.
Right, right. So explain to the people what exactly you mean, because I know you said gain structure a couple times, but explain to people exactly what you mean by gain structure and by clipping. What are those two things?
Well, on like the 2i2 or on any the Tascam as well, there's always a way to turn up. It's almost like the volume, but it's not the volume. Gain structure is the overall level of the audio, basically, that is being captured. And you just want to make sure that it's not, when you're looking at like meters, that it's not going above 0. You
Mm,
want to be
mm,
like 7-8 dB below that, so that you can
right,
adjust it, that you're giving yourself room later if you do need to adjust it up or down or something like that. But like you said, like that's a constant, like making sure that that gain is looking good the whole time. So, you know, even when I'm talking, I'm always going to be glancing at making sure that there's nothing hitting red. And that's the great thing about the Focusrite, is that
Yeah,
it'll
yeah,
show you when it's clipping. It
yeah.
turns red, or it turn, you know, orange when it's about to. So you know to just back down that knob. And the knob says gain on any, you know. You just want to make sure it's at that right level. So I mean, yeah. So
Right,
whether I'm mixing one person or a big band, I have to make sure that everything on that big band, you know, was below 0. So no matter
mm,
how loud they got, it was always me adjusting the gain to make sure that my mix stayed level that
mm,
I had
mm.
going on my faders. But that's way more technical than
Right, right,
but
right, right,
always make sure that the gain is good.
right. And I can relate to that. So that's like right now I'm looking down my 2i2 and it's hitting green.
Yep.
And now that you said it, it's like, okay, should I just reduce the gain a little bit? I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm thinking about it because I removed my pop filter because it's falling apart. You normally have this pop filter here, right here.
Uh-huh.
So I'm slave now to the all of the plosives now, the P's and
Yep.
whatever else. I removed. This is the first time. It's so strange. I've had it since I got the mic inside. The day that the audio engineer comes on the show, I remove the pop filter. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just looking to be ostracized today. I don't know. I don't
All
know.
good. You sound good over here. So
Okay, great. That's great. Wonderful. So to Deanna is saying the audio between the two of you is so soothing to my ears. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
thank you.
We do try. We do try. You know, we do try. All right. Is there any other advice you can give to people who like apart from the microphone, is there anything else people can do to have good sound apart from adding gear or having a microphone or new microphone? Like, is there anything they can do with the room or the way they speak in order to get better sound?
As far as the room, I would say if you're by yourself, or I would say go into your closet, into your clothes closet that has all your clothes into it. If you have a walk-in, or even if you just kind of set up your mic like where your jackets are, and to get, you know, so that there's no reflection. Really, you know, when you hear bad audio, a lot of the times it's the fact that it's in such a reflective room, and then it could get lost sometimes because you're just like, you're hearing the echoes going on in the room. So I tell like my podcast clients, like, hey, just go into a closet since you're by yourself anyway. Like, because you know, now we're doing a lot of like this StreamYard. So you just need to get into a place that's very solid, and it's not hello, you know, when you're in like your living room or something.
Right,
That's too
right,
wide
right,
open usually. At least go into your bedroom, if not your closet. Somewhere
right.
where it's a lot of like carpet on the floor, so, curtains, maybe in a corner where if you have curtains on both sides, like
Right.
go into that corner. Just somewhere where it's not a bunch of reflective surfaces. Never in a kitchen. It's too many hard surfaces, and not really in the living room. It's just too big. So that would help out a lot. You know, it's just getting a tight quarters.
Right, right. So reflective surface is like something that is like hard, like a
Yeah.
hard surface, like
Yeah. I mean, I
tile.
have curtains like and diffusers and all sorts of things in this room. So
Right, right,
yeah, that's like when you don't hear like a whole bunch of stuff banging around, you know.
right,
You just
right,
want to
right.
hear that snap, and that's it. Yeah,
Right. That's the and nothing coming back to you.
exactly.
Right. I remember. I mean, thank goodness I had my my music production fees. Otherwise, this room may have been in a mess. But
Oh yeah, then you know exactly.
yeah. So I do have some of these stuff here. Like maybe I could make it wide so we can see. I do have like some of the thing like the treatment here, the corners and this behind me,
Exactly.
and then I use carpets on the ground
Uh-huh.
here, and there's more on that side, and there's more on that side.
Yep.
It's all around this deadened
Yeah.
the entire room basically.
Yeah. So if you can get a room or a corner, and especially if you want to do something on the regular, then you should kind of make a spot for that if that's
Mm,
if that's going to be your thing.
mm,
Create a space for it. And
mm.
it can be just like a corner, and just kind of put yourself kind of facing that corner, so you just have on those sides that it's covering it, or it's
Mm, mm.
um yeah, just giving it that nice snug feeling.
So it's better to face like a corner as opposed to facing away that the corner.
I almost feel, yeah, I mean, I would much rather, yeah, I kind of want you facing towards the this covered thing, so that I just don't get that much noise. That like that was an issue with the pandemic. Everybody was home, so it's just, yeah, to get a silent spot to record in anybody's house was darn near impossible. That I was just like, just go into your closet and
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
and that worked out. That sounded the best.
Right. And the reason for that is you wanna cause you don't want to be so far away from the surface because maybe when the sound travels, it has time to come back. Or what happens with that? Like when you're
Oh, well,
in
you don't want the you just want the source of the sound
right.
immediately to the source, and that's it. I don't want the source, not for like podcasts and stuff. Like, for music, you can have some more nuanced stuff, but most of the stuff I'm doing is kind of like, especially for my bigger clients, it's very much broadcast ready that they want.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Excellent. Let me check any comments real quick. So Gail is saying you sound so good. You no, he's saying our Estes are popping up peas. Thank you so much, Gail, for that endorsement of my sound. And
Yes.
I don't know if you know about this, but in Trinidad and Tobago, where I'm from, this is what we say sometimes: drink honey and lime. That is so that your throat will be in order, so that you can give the best sound,
Yes.
type of thing. And Lawrence is just making a joke. He said, "Oh, you meant the room? That's how you can improve the sound." All right. And Luke is agreeing with some of the things we've said. This is Luke Lashley. You're not going to see his thing, but he's in my Facebook group, and he's saying
Right.
nice idea for those suggestions. So that's good. So is it that even with your phone, if you take it into the closet, it will sound better as well?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything sounds better in an enclosed atmosphere. Yeah.
Right. Are those things that you see on like Amazon, or those kind of curved things with the insulation, or the dome thingies? Are those any good, or are those just gimmicky stuff? Like,
Oh no, that's good stuff too. It just it depends. That's usually for like low end bass stuff, if I'm not mistaken, like the cylinder stuff.
mm,
So that usually means you're like mixing hip hop or something, you're mixing a certain type of music. Um
right,
we mix when we do music is more acoustic stuff, jazz based and stuff. So we don't have that here. We don't, we didn't need that for the particular music that we deal with, besides, us doing podcasts and like vocal stuff. And you don't
right.
need it for that sort of thing.
Oh, you don't need those things for like if you're doing a podcast or if you're just speaking. Don't even bother to buy those things. It doesn't make sense.
No, because they're I want to say they're bass traps. I have to do a little bit more research, but I think yeah, that's for like low end stuff when you're doing like drum and bass and that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, so you have to think about that as well. What are you doing in your room? Are you
Right.
doing music, or is it just podcasting, or in streaming or something like that? So,
Right.
that's why I'm like, you have to kind of contact me to know. So I have to figure out what would be the best thing for my clients. That's what I do with them.
Right. And I want to endorse that whole going into your linen closet or your jackets or whatever you could fit if
Hmm.
you have one, or just stick your head inside if you don't have a walk-in one. Some of the biggest YouTubers have attested to that. That works, and I've seen people literally record inside of those spaces.
Hmm.
Um, I have found, like, when I was recording with my phone, I did it inside of my closet, and I actually found it to be too neutral, like too bass. It deadened the thing so much that it took some of the life out of my voice. Is that possible as well?
I, for me, not really. I just get all of the frequencies to do what I want to do. If I don't want the low end, I could take it out. Then it gives me my engineering.
Yeah, you have the cheat code. You could go and do all these stuff at the end. Us,
I guess,
uh,
yeah, I know what I want, because as an engineer, we just give me all the information, and then as I mix it and master it, like, I'm gonna just make it into what I need it to be.
yeah,
So,
us regular folk would just have to live with whatever we record.
um,
Well, I mean, that's the power of what your experience and what you've been doing. So yeah, so
yeah.
it's all good. It's all good. All right, that's good. A piece of advice for me. This is my personal. Now, everybody, I'm going to take this next minute or two is my personal question. I'm going to ask for me. This is not for you all, since Fela is here. So pencil condensers, right?
Uh-huh.
Is there another name for those things?
I mean, pencils are fine. Yeah, I mean, you know exactly what it
Right.
is, like, if you're in the business.
Right. Okay. So someone there's been a big argument with recording video, because that's what my company does. My company does video production for people,
Hmm.
and so shotgun microphones versus pencil condensers. So pencil condensers are capture the audio from the front, is straight on. It's a small diaphragm. That's what you call it,
Yep.
right?
Small diaphragm condensers,
Right.
usually.
And the shotguns are like have they have a different structure. um do you find that recording audio with pencil condensers give you better, cleaner audio, or is it that shotguns are fine?
Oh, well, shotguns are usually used for, like, dialogue on in video, uh where there's one or two people. Um Pencils, you usually have that just, like, attached to the camera, and you're just kind of like, it's you. But actually, with both, you're usually adding it to the lapels that are already on the players, that you're recording. Um, with the shotgun mics are used when you're two people are talking and you want to back up to the lapels. Um, and then with the pencils, that's usually attached to the camera.
Mm,
So you're just trying to get, like, what's going on where you're recording a little. It's not going to be perfect audio, but you're getting an omnidirectional. Shotgun is very directional, like,
mm,
wherever you pointing it.
mm,
Pencils are omni, so you're kind of getting the essence. So it
mm.
kind of depends on what you're doing.
Right.
I would personally put a pencil on which I have a pencil right now on my Canon C200. We always have it on there just so we'll have scratch audio at any time, even with the lapel. Um, and for you to line it up later, because we'll usually record our audio to, like, Logic or whatever, and then, especially in the studio, and then recording the audio that's just coming from the pencil condenser. Now, with this shotgun, you have to just be very specific on where you're aiming it. So that's kind of the difference. Is just like you have more flexibility. or you can be very direct with the pencil, with the shotgun. Pencil, everything gets captured.
Right.
So it kind of depends on what you're doing with your video.
Right. Right. I hear you. Um.
Oh yeah, curtains
Oh.
are sufficient,
Right.
and sound blankets as well. We use those in here as well.
Right. Right. So you could, if you don't have the money to buy some blankets, you could just get regular old curtains, and that should help.
Yeah, or moving blankets,
Right.
very
Right.
cheap, $3. And you can put those on top of like an old, like some stands, like a boom stand. Put the
Right.
moving blankets on both sides of the person talking, and make a makeshift like sound, isolation,
Yeah.
which we'll do in here sometimes for voiceover.
Right, right, right. Yeah, we've actually done that on location. It was so janky. It was so janky.
Nah, yeah, on location there, that's a little
Yeah.
in studio, because it's it's our thing and we can shoot around it. It didn't really matter.
Right, right, right. Excellent. I don't know if this is Lawrence is saying that is a good point. That I'm very, very certain that he means two things. He's making a joke, a pun about the pencil, and he's also saying that I'm very certain that's what Lawrence is doing here. All right, so let's jump into the other segment of the day. What's Gil saying? Like a mini sound booth? Yes, like a mini
Yes.
sound booth.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is. Like a mini sound booth. Exactly what it is. Let's jump into the other segment. It was so good for you to share that with us. Let's jump into the other segment of the day so we can talk about some other things. But before we go, let me just warn you ahead of time. This is the agree or disagree segment. You've watched the show, so you know what's happening, what's going to happen. All right.
Uh-huh.
You know what's going to happen. Great. So this is the agree or agree segment. This or disagree. I'm losing my words. This is the agree or disagree segment of the show, where I kind of ask you I make some statements, and you can agree or disagree. So let's jump into that right now. All right. Agree, disagree with Fela Davis from New Jersey by way of South Carolina. So let's see if you agree or disagree with some of these things right here. So of course, these are general statements. I neither disagree nor agree with any of these things, but you can just tell me what you think about it. So this is the question I ask everyone who comes on the show: agree or disagree? Passion before skill.
Passion before skill. Agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Does that sound like something that happened to you?
Yeah. I mean, I just stuck with audio. I mean, I was told that I shouldn't do it, or you sure? But yeah, it was my passion, so it turned into a skill. Like I did it so long, I had to get good at it.
Right. What were the other options if audio was nothing?
Exactly. I never had another option. So I was like, I'm just gonna have to work my tail off at this, because I don't want to really do anything else. I didn't want a regular job. My parents didn't really like their job. So I was like, oh, when I grew up, I want to like what I do.
Right.
And I've been living that dream ever since.
All right. That's excellent. All right. Agree, disagree. Music is an essential part of a good podcast.
Disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't have to like I mean, it doesn't even have to have music in it, so yeah, no.
Right. So you can have a podcast, but you don't have to have any of the fancy intros or any of those things. You can just just begin to talk.
I would have some kind of bumper music. I would. Okay, you put it that way. I'm like, I don't know if it's essential though.
Right,
I mean,
right,
it could be just like a sound cue or like a sound effect, and then I know what's happening.
right.
I'm trying to think of all the, but I don't know of a podcast that doesn't have music at the beginning. So
It's still
even the most
oh.
yeah, like even everybody puts music at the front though. That's funny. They'll always figure that out.
Is that a case of everybody is doing it because everybody else is doing it?
Yeah, I guess everybody has their vibe that they want you to know. I mean, because you have a nice intro as I was bopping to it when it came on. Like, so yeah, I think it, it sets a certain tone. I never thought of it as essential. But yeah, I mean, but when I think about it, yeah, I don't know anybody who doesn't have music. So
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
yeah,
mhm,
everybody has music.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, just about everyone. I guess now that you've mentioned it, now that you kind of thought about it a little bit, you could probably stand out if you don't have music.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a thing. Who
Just get
knows?
right to it.
Let's just start to talk. Just like say, thank you for coming to my podcast, and just begin to
Just begin, yeah.
talk. Yeah, just not give anything else but talk. All right, agree, disagree. Being nervous before going live never goes away.
Uh nah, I disagree. Once you do so many of them, it's kind of, it's the job. So, okay.
Right, right, right. So you were like ice water in your veins type of thing before, the live show starts type of thing.
Well, because I know I'm going to talk about stuff I know about. Now,
Right.
I would be nervous if I'm like, I got to talk about what? Hold on. But you could tell me any time of the day, let's do a live show about audio, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, let's go.
Hmm.
I'd be fine with it. We want to talk about live sound, podcast sound, whatever
Right.
sound. I'm always ready for that.
Right. So let me follow up. Let me say agree, disagree. Is the level of your expertise proportional to your ability to be composed during a live stream? Is
Oh
that
yes, totally, totally.
right?
Yeah, it depends on how long you've been doing your thing, and yeah, 20 years of doing my thing is it's easy to talk about it.
Right. It's not like they're coming to ask you to speak about how to grow rose bushes or something like that.
Yeah, or lighting. Then I'd
Or,
be like, oh wow, I don't.
yeah, or lighting,
I couldn't go into the tungsten scale and
Yeah, yeah,
bring out a light reader and be like, I'm gonna explain to you with lumens. Yeah, like
yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's like when you get to a point where, like, if somebody were to talk to me about lighting, I'd be like, oh, yeah, let me just talk about that. I don't even have to prepare to talk about lighting,
yeah,
But for
I
something
would.
to like,
I'd be like,
where do I start?
yeah.
All right, agree, disagree. Sometimes sleep is the currency you pay for personal growth.
Agree.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, yeah,
Yeah. You
yeah,
gotta rest to get growth. So yeah.
right. Well, in this case, I was thinking about more of like part of your story is that you mentioned you were doing like $50 gigs,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you had to sleep in the car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it would go very late. You were the first people to get there, the last people to leave,
Oh yeah.
type of thing. And I think to some degree, being able to do that and sacrificing was a price you had to pay in order to grow. And
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, because even during that $50 a night gigs, I was working during the day 9 to 5, then go and mix a show 8 to 2, and then have to be back at that job for that 9 a.m. And that was a 90-minute drive to the gig, so yeah.
You literally won't sleep in.
Yeah, I was like sleeping 3 hours, a night at a certain point. But that was at the height of me being the best at mixing. Like,
Right.
I was so tight on mixing, I could do it in my sleep. Like, I was doing it in my sleep. But now I don't have to do that. I knew that I had to do that for that moment, but now I don't have to, do that sort of craziness anymore.
Oh,
Because I knew I was going to get to here where I'm at
right.
now. I don't have to, do that anymore. Thank God.
Right. That season has come to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I enjoy my sleep. But
Yeah, you better has. You better has.
But yeah, in your
Yeah.
20s, you got to sacrifice sometimes, yeah.
Yes, definitely. Before I get to the last one, let me just take some of these comments down here real quick. So Lorenzo was saying music helps and seems to be common in podcasts, but I think the real rhythm in podcasts is the flow of the conversation. Get that right and you'll engage the audience. Good
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
Good
Yeah.
point. Makes sense. Makes sense. And then Gail is adding to that by saying, Lorenzo, interesting point. I thought the type of music for podcasts was somehow to set the mood, but I agree that the right content is key for engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and let me see. Gail is adding, maybe loss of sleep is a currency you pay, a sacrifice that makes it more clear. Okay, all right, I
Mm-hmm.
get you.
Yeah.
But let me go to this point here, and I'm going to say that there's some times I listen to podcasts, and I just think that is too much. It's just too much. They're trying too hard with the music, or it's because it's very subjective. It's very subjective.
Uh-huh.
You can tell that my intro is like kind of like it's a bit breakbeat with the horns and everything, and it's a little hip hoppy because that's what
Uh-huh.
I like, But if it was like a ukulele or some of that sort, it may appeal to someone else, and so it's very very subjective. And so
Uh-huh.
if you put that on a little thick, then who knows, some people may like it, some people won't.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the services that we offer. My business partner is a music producer, so I definitely do it for businesses and brands, and they like the idea of having their own theme song. So
Yeah, having your own theme song, that's a thing. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't blame them. That is
yeah.
fine. Yeah. And the last one is agree, disagree. I ask everyone this question. On social media, you grow more from doing rather than consuming.
Oh yeah, agree totally.
Right,
Yes, you
right.
must do. I mean, if you have a business or you do a service, you should put it out there. No matter how many times you think people know what you do, they never know what you do. I still hear people like, "What are you doing it?" I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
"You like I'm literally posting, writing things, videos of what I do, and people still like, I don't really know what's going on." So it's never enough. So you should definitely and with consuming, yeah, I do like to consume to find out what else is out there that I like and that I could put my own spin to
hmm,
for content creation.
right.
But I'd say really concentrate on yourself though and putting out there what do.
Yeah. And I think that is like so important. Like that's something that we are going to start to do more. We kind of uh, restructuring our content strategy to talk more about the things that we do and what my business does, because a lot of it was focused in the last season on like building a personal brand, but now the company itself is going to have to kind of come to the fore a little more, and we're going to
Uh-huh.
really restructure that to make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's good.
Uh-huh.
So Fela, now that we've come to the kind of the landing strip of our conversation, let people know where they can find you.
Okay. You can find me at one of one and you spell out ONE. ONE of ONE productions.com. Or you can email me at Fela at oneofoneproductions.com. We have the kits that I was talking about. You can see those We got video there. We work with Ebony K. Williams holding court, which we actually got nominated for a Webby Award for like best news podcast. And we
Oh,
were
cool.
going against like ABC and stuff like that. So that was big. But you'll see like video stuff we did for her, the doctors and lawyers that all the stuff we've been working on. So check us out, and if you have any questions and want to create your own rig, I'd love to help you out, give you some tips and pointers on what to do. So check us out, oneofoneproductions.com.
Right. And Fela is on LinkedIn. You can check her out on Fela.
Please do. Yes, I'm on LinkedIn. Follow LinkedIn or connect.
It's paying dividends. And on IG is One of One Pro Studio.
Yep.
On IG, so.
And Facebook, that same at One of One Pro Studio. Yep.
On Facebook as well.
Yep.
Excellent. So thank you so much, Fela, for being on with us today. I know I'm not sure what this it might be Luke. Luke might be saying that is so true. I'm not sure what he's saying that's so true. And he's saying facts. Whatever it was, it probably
I'm spitting facts over here.
Yeah. All right. Let me see. And Gail saying, Lorenzo, I just thought there was some kind of science involved when choosing music to go with your podcast and the type of content. Assume from listening to them, I don't have my own. There's a big conversation going on in the comments
about the music. Yeah, I mean,
about the music.
It's subjective. Yeah,
it's definitely subjective, I think. But I like my music. I'm sure you like yours. And thanks so much for being here. And of course, you have your podcast as well, which we can all go listen to.
Oh yes, the Art of Music Tech podcast. I forgot, it's my audio engineering podcast. I even interviewed Christian McBride, Patrice Rushen, all these different musicians and producers I work with. So talking about their art of doing music and doing audio stuff. So yeah.
The art, say one more time, the
art of music tech. And it's on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all the major platforms.
The Art of Music Tech. Go check that out. That is Fela's podcast. What Luke was saying is that he was agreeing with you when you said put out all the work that you do and don't assume that everyone knows what you do. That's what he was referring to.
They never do. Not even your family.
Yeah. Listen, my mom still doesn't know what to tell people that I do. She still doesn't know what to say.
I think you DJ or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
DJ, I've never.
She's she can't describe it. And more comments. Excellent conversation, guy. I love the information overload. Thanks, Fela. You're welcome. You're welcome, Gail. Thank you so much for sticking with us for the entirety of the show. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Of course, Luke is saying here, and I mentioned that before, and I tried to start. Okay, so you did that. You told everyone what you were doing, and it started to work. That's excellent. I'm going to start to do some more of that. More specifically, the messaging is important. Yeah. So thank you so much, Fela, for being on with us today. Thank you so much, Useful Content community, for being with us and sticking with us to the end. And we'll see you next time on the Useful Content Creation Show. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.